"96 miles per hour. That's the speed our favorite tech YouTuber MKBHD was clocked at in a recent video. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is the same guy who usually just unboxes phones and reviews gadgets, right? Well, it looks like he might have gotten himself into a bit of hot water again. So here's what happened. Marques recently dropped a video titled "How My Video Gear is Changing," and at first glance it seemed like a regular upload. But let's not kid ourselves, this wasn't a regular review. It was a 9-minute ad for DJI, wrapped up in the usual MKBHD polish. And let me remind you, this is the same guy who promised his audience he wouldn't do fully sponsored videos. So much for that. Wow, I cannot believe this. I remember a time when Marques Brownlee said he would never make a fully sponsored video. Now here it is, an entire 9-minute video that is just a sponsor. Skip ad ended the video. Elmao sponsor block labels 90% of the video as an ad. But it gets better. Throughout the video, he's literally second-guessing what he's allowed to say. Think about that. The guy known for brutal honesty in tech reviews is now checking himself before speaking. Even his viewers are clowning on him for literally filming a 10-minute ad. And someone is claiming MKBHD to be a hypocrite for this, because MKBHD was once against this kind of stuff. And honestly, can you blame them? The whole thing just feels off. As if the sponsored video wasn't bad enough, things took a turn for the worse, literally. In the same video, Marques included a clip of himself driving a Lamborghini Huracan at 96 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour school zone. Yes, you heard that right. A school zone. For non-Americans, he was going 154 kilometers per hour when the limit was 56 kilometers per hour. Almost 3 times more. A 100 kilometers per hour more. That's honestly pretty crazy. Here's the thing. Speeding in a residential area isn't just illegal, it's reckless. At 96 miles per hour, a car covers 141 feet every second. If a kid runs onto the street, that's not enough time to react. And for a YouTuber with almost 20 million subscribers, this isn't just a poor choice. It's a dangerous example. Even more outrageous? The video wasn't even about cars. It was a sponsored review for DJI's action camera, and Marques thought it'd be a good idea to flex his Lamborghini in the middle of a residential neighborhood. And let's not even get started on the attempt to blur the speedometer. His team actually tried to blur out the center speedometer. But guess what? They forgot about the passenger side display. And there it is, clear as day, 96 miles per hour. Really weak attempt at covering it up. Even ignoring the fact the other speedo is visible, he goes to 62 miles per hour before it's blurred and is very obviously still accelerating since the revs continue to increase even after shifting up a gear. Not sure why that clip was included at all. What do rich PPL have against speed limits, man? And his first response to all this? A pinned comment saying, "Cut out the unnecessary driving clip that obviously added nothing to the video. I hear all your feedback on sponsored videos too." That's it. No acknowledgement of the speed, the danger, nothing. Just, oops, let me delete that real quick. "There's no reason to leave that clip in. There was no reason to include it in the first place," he wrote. Sure, but why include it at all if you knew it was wrong? How can you stoop so low in a single video, do a fully sponsored ad, video commit a felony? Cut out the felony part. Try to sweep it under the rug. Editing out the crime does not make it disappear. What's even more baffling is the sheer lack of awareness. How did Marques or anyone on his team think it was a good idea to leave that in the final cut? As the backlash snowballed, Marques took to Twitter with a more formal apology, addressing the gravity of the situation. "Last video I did something pretty stupid. You might have already seen it, but maybe not, so I'll address it here. There was a clip with the action cam of me test driving a car and going way too fast. Absolutely inexcusable and dangerous. I've since cut it out of the video with YouTube's editor tool. I also understand that this looks like covering it up, but I think it's the right thing to do. There's no reason to leave that clip in. There was no reason to include it in the first place, and I would never want to make it seem okay by leaving it in the video. I'm well aware of the Streisand effect, and I know everything on the internet lives forever, but I think that's the best decision right now. All I can do is apologize and promise never to do anything close to that stupid again. That's a terrible example to set, and I'm sorry for it." By downplaying the issue in one place and over-explaining it in another, he created more confusion than resolution. Notice how the apology is mostly for the clip and not the act itself. Speed limits and most laws around cars are entirely about safety. He disregarded laws meant to keep children and pedestrians safe for a video. Well, it's actually not a good apology because it doesn't properly address the issue. He states that it wasn't his intention to cover it up by editing out the clip. Let's take his statement at face value and say it's true. That still doesn't explain why he knowingly tried blurring out the speedometer before the video went live, which implies that he was acutely aware of what he was doing was wrong, that it would be perceived negatively, so he took premeditated action to try and hide it. That's the dictionary definition of a cover-up LMAO, so his apology doesn't really work now, does it? The speeding controversy wasn't the first time MKBHD found himself in hot water recently. Just a month before this, MKBHD launched his Panels app, a release that many saw as a complete disconnect from the values he'd built his brand on. Panels was supposed to be a cool new addition to his brand. Instead, it turned into yet another point of contention. Why? Well, how about $50 a year for wallpapers? Yeah, that's right, $50. A wallpaper app. In 2024, for $50 a year. Or watch 2 ads just to download a single 1080p wallpaper. You can't make this stuff up. I'm sorry, but making people pay or watch ads to download Orange is absurd. Hard to understand someone spending all these years building up the best reputation in tech and then suddenly blowing it all by releasing this ad-spamming, location-tracking, $11.99 a month wallpaper trash. What on earth? So within the span of what, a month? We've got an overpriced wallpaper app that tracks user data, a fully sponsored video he promised he'd never do, and now actual criminal behavior on camera. It's clear Marques is on a roll, but not in a good way. Marques spent over a decade building his reputation as the most trusted voice in tech. 19 million subscribers. Countless people make purchasing decisions based on his word. And in the span of just a few months, we're watching that reputation crumble. From an overpriced wallpaper app to sponsored content he promised he'd never do, to literally uploading evidence of a crime and trying to cover it up. Here's what's really concerning. Each time he messes up, the stakes get higher. We went from questionable app practices to sponsored content deception to actual dangerous criminal behavior. What's next? Damn, Marques really changed, huh? Never thought I'd see the day. You either die a hero or live long enough to become unbox therapy. Sure, he apologized, but only after getting caught. Only after trying to cover it up. Only after the internet wouldn't let it go. So what do you think? Can Marques recover from this? Or is this the beginning of the end for YouTube's most trusted tech reviewer? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for me in this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.